Welcome back, everyone, to the second half of Olympus Rises. Let's go ahead and look at Discord real quick. Oh, no, Will. That sucks. I'm gonna go ahead and unmute and see if everybody's back. Hello.
Yep.
Welcome back, everybody. For those of you that are here. So, Matt, hello. Welcome back. Good.
Meg is on her way.
Throw something at her.
That'd be really sad because she's carrying a bunch of guacamole.
Wait, what?
Hey, Meg, what are you putting in your mouth?
I'm sure my brother already told you, but I'm eating guacamole and it's delicious.
It is pretty good.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay, welcome back.
Yay.
Meg brought guacamole and didn't bring enough for the rest of us.
Well, that's fine because I don't like guacamole.
Banned.
Banned. Get out.
I don't like avocados.
Bye.
Well, to be fair, he's a cheap date at Chipotle.
True.
I am.
This is
So,
a
I
true
mean-
story.
So I mean, there's like give and take there, right?
I mean, there's a lot of
a lot of take.
well, there's a lot of take there, but sure.
A lot of take there.
There's one silver lining.
There's this taco place right by my work that they fresh make the guacamole literally at your table.
So jealous.
It's
So
really
good.
good. Really, really good. But Devin won't ever let me take him there because he doesn't like guacamole, and that's kind of like literally the whole point of going.
So sad. I'm so sad.
To be fair, I've also never invited him. So
That's also true. Because Jordan's been extremely antisocial since I moved back to Orlando.
yes, correct. That is a true statement. I don't do any social things ever.
Anyway,
However,
back to stars with that number.
back to stars without number. So during transit, I assume there is just basically a lot of catching up, a lot of reminiscing, a lot of moving the pace along. But there are possibly a research roll or two that we need to make. So I'll throw it over to you, Devin. You are researching something actively. Let's see.
I don't think.
Or did you finish everything?
Because I finished the weapon.
Oh.
And so now any additional rolls I want to make are just a one jump roll to make a new one.
Oh, right. Correct. Yes. Got it. So then I guess my question is, what do you do during your downtime? You could try and replicate the
Actually,
mod.
because I've already made one, an additional one. I fixed the one and gave it back to Dr. Fisher. I fixed
And then you
that one,
make
gave
it, and then you made an additional one already.
and then I've made an additional one. So I know what I'm doing, and I've done it again, and I've been able to replicate the
Gotcha.
the outcome.
Right.
But so now I would like to. Here's the thing. Well, one, there is now a new sign outside of the armory door,
Uh-huh.
and it says Fortune Arms, and then it probably says full out like Fortune's Armament, and then yeah. So there's now a business called Fortune Armament.
It's better than other
LLC.
businesses we've had run out of compartments on the ship.
So this is a good point.
And
Cool. So the options available to you, I guess, if you wanted to like pursue more of that, is you could try and like create your own mod, right? Like that's
I've got ideas
Okay,
now
good.
right now to make money. And that'll I'll deal with that more once we're done.
yeah, absolutely.
But I would like to make a stamp some sort that I could put on the weapon, so that way it's no longer like a whatever no name laser rifle. It's now a Fortune Armaments laser rifle.
Got it. Okay.
So that way,
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna take a roll to like make the symbol, but what does it look like? Describe to us what the stamp or fabrication manufacturer's stamp looks like.
I will let you know.
Okay. All right. Sure.
I just kind of started brainstorming a lot of the session.
Yeah.
So I've been busy.
I'm pretty sure Meg just dropped a bunch of guacamole.
Meg, confirm, deny.
That's tacit confirmation.
Is she cursing?
Anyway, I don't know. I have headphones on.
Okay, that's great.
Anyhow, please continue.
It's good. Well, since she's currently dealing with guacamole disasters,
I'm just throwing it out there. She's occupied for a minute or two. But
Oscar, what about you during your 3-day journey?
I think he spends at least some time. If we're talking about directed action, he spends some time mulling over what he saw the master do. What
Brooding,
oh
perhaps.
my God, her name.
Suda.
He's definitely Suda. Okay. Brooding is maybe. I think brooding implies like dark thoughts. I think he's trying to dissect that for sure. Like, so I think he spends some time kind of meditating on the entirety of that experience, but also specifically that's kind of eating at him a little bit. He's super curious about how on earth she did what she did.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just looking at what Meg's doing, because I think he talks to Gogo at some point. Gogo, you here? Gogo's not here yet.
I heard a sorry from far away.
So I think we have. Let's just give her a second.
Okay, hi, hello, hi.
Oh, there she is.
To be fair, this is what she gets for not bringing everybody else guacamole.
Listen, I don't know how this happened. It's fine.
Let's move on. So at some point, after his introspection there, Oscar would go and find Gogo. Where do I find her on the ship nowadays? Because it may be different than usual.
Probably in the quote unquote cafeteria. Probably cleaning up a glass of water that she just spilled on everything.
Yeah. Actually, you want to hear something funny? And this is a little bit off topic, but I rewatched episode 1 because I renumbered all of the episodes to have them accurate. And I called it a cantina.
I'm in the cantina cleaning up water.
That's not bad. Cantina works. I think he'd specifically try and find a time where Chan was not completely invested in whatever you were doing.
Yeah, you could find a time where that happens.
Like,
it's probably the reason why she's cleaning, to be fair.
Yeah, it's the reason why I'm cleaning up the water I just spilled.
I think, he kind of, in his milling around the ship, he approaches Gogo when Chan is like, in the vents or something, like working on who knows what. Just, somewhat out of earshot. It's do you have a moment, Gogo?
Fucking shit. Yeah.
It's quite a mess you've made there.
Yeah. It's just
you have to be more careful.
I don't know how it happened. You know what? Yeah. And she just like goes and sits at another table and just like kind of leaves it there. And she's like, what can I do for you, Oscar?
Chan was making progress. you'd agree, wouldn't you?
Yeah, he's making dramatic progress. Now, not so much.
Why?
Well, it's kind of complicated. Um, you know, it
Try
took.
me.
Okay. The gist of it is apparently whomever I believe he said consort, whoever he believes to be my person, um, is also his. Yeah, that was the term I was trying to avoid. Um, is also his overseer as well. Apparently, it's something that they have been taught to do. So, unfortunately, that's put him back a bit. I think that
Hand slowly creeping up.
yeah.
Says,
So, yeah.
this is a problem, is it not?
I mean, in the grand scheme
This
of
person
things,
is not here, and he is deferring to this person.
right. I'm trying to work on that.
In a basic sense, he would not interact with me appropriately.
Really, that's news. Ugh, crap, this is worse
He's
than I thought.
It's like his AI brain was broken.
He says, I know you didn't intend this, but this is now a problem that we have to deal with. If
She kind
he
of
is
gets defensive at
unresponsive
that.
to,
No, she like would stop you and like you're gonna. She's like, I know, I'm working on it. Okay, it's like not a big deal, and she's like getting upset.
says, if you're working on it, I will take your word on that. I had no exposure to this but just recently, and it's concerning that. Listen, just let me know if there's anything that I can help with. Otherwise, I will assume that you are taking steps toward resolving it. It's it's difficult to see the change in this other direction.
Yeah, no
I
kidding.
suppose I don't have to tell you that, though.
I will let you know. And Gogo kind of like clearly is like, I'd like to not talk about this anymore. Thanks.
That was all.
Okay.
he leaves you with your.
The water spilt at the other table, but it's clearly not Gogo's.
Definitely not.
So what else, Oscar, happens besides that conversation and the meditation?
I mean, if his primary concern would have been that she had no idea, and that they were going to get into a situation where he just like wouldn't do something that he needed to because
You mean like defend
Gogo's
himself from getting shot in the head?
something like that. Yeah. Although at this point that may not actually matter all that much.
Very little, yes.
Yeah. Several ellipses. Yeah, beyond that, I think probably he has a conversation with Oha as well.
Okay.
As they're so we're currently en route to Westwind, right? So
Yeah.
we have like legitimate downtime. Yeah, okay. In that time he would definitely have a little meeting with Oha.
Okay.
And I think the tune of that is how far they want to commit to a war effort, to how far she is willing to commit to the what Gogo had proposed, basically.
Yeah, I think that she says to you, she's like, well, I hold at least still some loyalty to Raimondi. We both know that it will share the same fate if left unchecked. Seems important.
Clearly.
I'm not going to be manning any guns on the battle stations here, but I think that there are other ways in which we can all provide assistance.
I think that for our crew, this is the right thing to do, regardless of our affiliations. However, I am sure this isn't lost on you, but if our goal is to, and he like pauses and he's thinking for a word. He says, restructure the ruling class on Raimondi.
Arched eyebrow smell.
Yeah.
Bemused
that, yeah.
arch eyebrow smell.
Yeah.
And she says, she probably says to you, she says, oh, Muskernt, I didn't know you cared so much. Yes, it is true, I'm probably not the most useful where you all are going. Perhaps a separation of power is necessary. And I am very willing to meet this contact of yours. I believe we may have had some interaction before, and I would really like to see him again.
He says, you may get your crack at Tykert, but that's not what I was suggesting.
Shame.
He says, he says, he she's just what kind of murder. He says, no, I'm suggesting we position ourselves as I'm not sure how to put it, but something that the people of Raimondi might actually approve of, rather than the mess of family politics and nepotism that currently rules Raimondi. Heroes from a war protecting them would be looked upon quite positively, would they not?
Seems like it may require quite a loud signature. Not sure that's something we're capable of right now, but you make a point.
I hope to make several, but that is some time off yet. Something to work up to.
Yes,
All
again,
I'm saying.
I think that it is wise to at least do our part. Overcommittal can be the end of many a plan, though. We should test the waters first. Perhaps not go directly after our goal. Information is a powerful thing, as we both know.
Surely. Simply meant to ask you how far you would be willing to go with this, and provide you my thoughts. Nothing more.
Yeah,
we
again,
could do worse.
I think she sits there for a long moment and just kind of nods. Then she goes, well, now that we've agreed, one more thing. And she kind of stands up from wherever she's sitting, And she says, "I would not speak ill of Gogo's friend. There's more than perhaps you understand."
Have you been digging around in the crew's brains again?
I think she kind of shakes her head, and again, bemused pheromones, and she goes,
Uh-huh.
"Well, you're nothing if not crude, at least." I think that's all she says, and she just leaves.
Well, that's it for Oscar.
Okay. So what about Gogo during transit?
I mean, I think she obviously needs to be in contact with Fizz to set up a meeting of some sort.
Purely business.
Purely for the war effort.
No.
Obviously.
Okay.
No alternative means there at all. Hopefully, he has some sort of in for them. At the very least, we have our red 5 to get us an in, but it would be nice to, I don't know, also have his.
Yeah, so he's a
for
day ahead of you, so you'll probably have a message by the time you arrive.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Also, remember, he's not your only contact. You also have Commander Hartfield, who you saved.
Oh, that's right.
Who is an actual commander, not just a warrant officer.
I mean, just.
But is he pretty?
He is not nearly as pretty now.
Yeah. So,
Well, you're not allowed to contact Commander Hartfield because I was.
Well, there you go. Settles that
yeah.
problem.
I also
Then
don't know
never
that he
mind.
has I don't know that Hartfield has a sexy accent.
He doesn't. I think I just used my regular
Okay.
voice for that. I think Gogo, though, one thing that does happen is probably like right after the jump is made. Hello, Patches. Hi. Did you want to be up here now? Okay. Right after the jump is made, probably like you've had your meeting and then you went and you made the jump and then you're headed back to like your quarters or whatever. I think Oha is like waiting for you outside your room. And so like you walk up and you're kind of like, hi, right?
Can I help you?
Yeah, and I think that she stands over you, right? Because she's very tall.
Yeah,
she's a bug person.
Than I.
But she like links her arm in yours, and she's like, "Come, we must have discussions." And she like opens the door to your room, and like kind of marches you in there. And then the door closes, and she like walks you over to the bed, like sits you down on it, and then she sits down across from you, and she like steeples her fingers together, and she goes, "So, tell me everything."
She like removes, like, if she's still like linked armed with her, she like pushes away from her and she goes, "Tell you what? Why can you?" Like, she's just like, why are you in my room right now?"
Oh, come now. Gossip is good for the soul. And I need details. Is he cute? Do I know him?
She just kind of like narrows her eyes at her and she's just like, "I wouldn't have pegged you as this type of person," is the word she ends up using.
Yeah. And I think she laughs and she's like, oh dear. I love details, information. That's what I strive for, but gossip is the juiciest of all. And she kind of like leans in closer. It's literally the only two of you in the room, and it's a bulkhead, so like nobody can hear you. She like leans in closer and she goes, "So, what does he look like? Does he have rippling muscles? Are his scents divine? Oh, that's not a thing you humans can do."
She like leans back and she goes, because okay, so Gogo doesn't have friends.
Uh-huh.
So like these are not conversations that she really has ever engaged in ever. And so she just thinks that she's prying and being rude. So I think she's just like, I really am not gonna share that information with you. Also, I don't even think I know your last name.
I think she laughs and she says, well, it's not Hrateg if you're asking. Certainly not.
Yeah, and so at that, Gogo like raises an eyebrow and she's like, maybe I should be asking you the same questions then.
Yeah, and I think that like there's a pause and she goes, well, if anyone's changing their name, it's certainly going to be him.
So that is a thing then, huh? You and him, and she just kind of like leaves it at that.
Yeah, and she raises like a single like long spindly finger and goes, I asked first.
So then I feel as though this goes into the like, she shares one bit of information and then the back and forth.
It's tennis, right?
100%.
Yeah, it's tennis. Does she grow on you at all though? Is it nice to talk about things for Gogo?
Yeah, I think that although Gogo is always suspicious of all people, always, I do think that it's like, it is nice to share information about Fizz with other people, or even information about herself with other people.
Right. Who aren't Chan.
Who just say, uh-huh.
Yeah.
Over and over and over.
Right, who just always agree. Like,
yeah. Uh-huh. Who might also share an opinion, right?
She's probably like, oh my god, you gave in far too quickly.
Right, yeah.
Don't let us seem
like,
desperate.
There's actual advice that she's giving, and she's like, oh, well, really? Like, shit. That kind of thing.
Yeah, like, now he knows you're desperate. You gotta lead him on a little bit. You gotta play hard to get. But not too hard to get, because you don't want to scare him off.
Gogo laughs. She's like, I don't think I could scare him off if, well...
Yeah. So we see that whole scene, probably before the scene with Oscar, right? Like, before the conversation she has with Oscar, kind of leads into, so it's like a bit of a flashback moment. So yeah. Oha ingraining herself with another member of the crew. Hopefully.
Question mark.
She thinks.
For the moment.
For the moment.
Although, she's definitely 2 for 2 at the moment, considering she also backed her up at the meeting, so.
True. So. What else?
I also at some point would want to obviously level with Chan.
Yeah.
Now that it's just me and not me and significant other question mark.
Right. So you find him probably in engineering. In fact, when you come in, he's probably got a compad and he's just like reading in engineering, right? Like he's just like looking at information. And when you come in, he kind of like he sets the compad down and like stands up. He's like, "Oh, Miss Gogo, I did not expect you. Is there something you needed?"
No, I just wanted to talk with you, Chan. I feel like we haven't talked in a while. What were you reading? Anything good?
Oh, nothing important. Just logs about the engines. We seem to be operating at pretty good efficiency, but could always do more. I don't have the skill for these sort of things that some others do.
Oh, Chan, you're being modest. This thing's running great. It's the best it's ever run since anyway. So I had heard that you'd wanted to train a little bit. I heard that Oscar offered and you were cagey? I guess maybe you don't know that term. You were less than enthusiastic.
Furrowed brow.
Yeah.
He's like, enthusiasm is not the word that I would use. There might be protocol that I need to follow. I told you that, well, upon you asking, and told you that in my culture there are certain tiers of individuals. I currently exist on one of the lower tiers, and when another is accepted above me, there is certain protocol that must be followed so that I can integrate properly into my place.
Shin, you know I haven't been much for protocol here, but I've known you long enough to know that that's a thing. So tell me, what do we need to do to get you to where you want to be?
I'm perfectly happy where I am.
So you don't care to train with Oscar? Even if I...
If that is what you and Mr. Fizz wish.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a moment. You realize that Fizz doesn't change anything, right? It's not... doesn't... You don't need to act any differently, and I know you're going to tell me you do, but just know that you don't. It shouldn't change how you react with the rest of the crew. It should just things as usual.
The crew are outsiders. They do not fall under the same terms as I do, and as Mr. Fizz does. I will say, however, it is a very good selection, Miss Gogo. He is of strong stock. Smart, although perhaps a bit inept in other areas. Forgive me, I should not have spoken like
No,
that.
please, Chen. I appreciate your opinion. In fact, I'm glad you approve.
Yes, he can provide a great many things.
Yes, well, okay, let's backtrack a sec. So, I think you should do this, Chan, if you want. I think that Oscar could teach you a lot, and it might prevent future accidents.
Well, if it is your desire, then I can become a guard. But it is truly, well, it is complicated to understand or explain, but I will try my best. When one takes another in my culture, it provides a hierarchy. It during times of not weakness, of course, but during times of lack of ability from the overseer, it falls to her significant to utilize the guard as they see fit, and I worry that without the approval and conditioning and orders from your significant, that should you become unable to provide orders, I would be lost. Does that make any sense?
In a weird, roundabout way, yes, it does.
Mostly it is common and happens only during pregnancy, but is something that needs to be considered.
Sure. if it makes you feel better, Chan, I will make sure I speak to Fizz about it. Does that make you feel better?
Yes, if there is word from him that it is okay, I would like to perhaps, if at all possible, I understand if it is not, of course, have him speak to it. That way I
Sure.
know.
Sure. Yeah, we can do that. He's driving right now, but when we're ready, I'll have him call you. How's that sound, Chan?
Yes.
Well, I don't want to take up any more of your time. I'm sure you're reading and whatnot.
Indeed. Yes. Thank you.
Gogo like stares at him for a long while and just sigh and just leaves.
Yeah. And when you leave, we see him like he kind of like slumps a little bit, like that was really hard for him. And he picks up his compad and begins scrolling through again. And I think that's what we see of Chan for the duration. So does anybody else have anything else they want to do during transit, or do we arrive at Westwind?
I maybe stuff I would have to for Westwind. Do they have? I know most of their money goes into making ships, but do they have, like, especially now, do they have a standing army of some sort,
So
or is it like contracted?
Westwind
security?
itself typically does not focus on standing armies.
Yeah.
They are purely they're really a business, right? They're really a ship manufacturer that happens to have a pretty large fleet, right? Because they always keep the best stuff for themselves. They could not mount a ground assault if they wanted to. It would require another level of assistance or investment into it, right? Like they'd have to start training people from scratch.
For their ships, like, I know their main goal is pretty much like shoot anything that comes, but what if their ships get taken? Is there like security personnel on the ships?
Yeah, I would think on the larger ships. In fact, you met some, right? The Commander Hartfield and his dudes, they were like probably security personnel.
And they were directly hired by Westwind, correct?
Yeah, they're hired just like you guys were by Westwind.
And what are they outfitted with as for weapons?
Standard issue laser rifles.
Okay, yep, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, combat field uniforms, laser rifles. That's their standard armament.
That's what I figured, and that's what I thought. So, all right, that's everything I need.
Okay, cool. So when you guys arrive in 0308, it is the home of Westwind, right? That's the home world, the home area of Westwind Corporation. You receive the typical spam, although it's slightly lessened, and also you get like a big blinking warning message. And the warning message essentially says, be advised, any ships entering or exiting the system, there is possibility for raiding parties. If you have a small caravan, please travel in groups. If not, please make sure you use the designated areas to depart where we will be, where like we have secured. So it looks like things have escalated. In fact, it probably hints towards there's been more than one attack now, kind of, poking pressure into the Westwind Corporation area. And on top of that, Fortune, you get a message, and Gogo, you get a message. That's interesting of note. Fortune, we'll start with you. Your message comes through from a sender that is a bunch of random numbers and symbols.
Okay.
And it says to you, It says, there's no need to go through intermediaries. I still have your number, is like the first sentence, right?
Okay.
And it says, I did my part as was asked of me, as much as I could do at the time. And then to answer and it says about the ship, the answer is no. It's good to have a legitimate face somewhere in the galaxy.
What?
And it's just signed with the letter B.
I'd probably just send a message back, like, you're making it a little hard. Do anything, ship. We can find some for your name to.
Yeah, and I think you send it, right? And it comes back with message unable to send, right?
Of course.
But you see, it says message unable to send, but you see a data transfer anyway. So something went out.
Something went out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we'll see what happens there.
And I would also like to send a message to Commander Hartfield if he's in
Yeah.
the area and available for a meeting.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. I think after you send that message, it's probably like an hour or two, and you receive a reply. It says that he's getting ready to go back on active duty. He was given a couple of weeks paid leave because of the battle.
Yeah.
And the debrief, and he had to do a report. He had to. He actually mentions that he had to go visit the family of that guy that died, because he was his direct commander. And he says that he'll be available for the next few days before he ships off again.
Yeah, I'd like to set up a meeting for tomorrow. If he wouldn't mind, I'll come to him.
Yeah, he probably gives you the location. In fact, he probably has an office on the Westwind station.
Okay.
He just gives you the location of his office.
Perfect.
Cool. Gogo, your message is from Fizz. And it says, hope this finds you well. I made it back safe. No issues. Had to return the rental. Had some issues with. They were talking about some strain on some of the joints, but I assured him it was from simple wear and tear. And like winky face.
Aw, he uses emojis too.
No. It's not emojis. It's semicolon.
No.
Close parentheses. It's not emoji.
He's trying. It's fine.
Yeah, and so semicolon close parentheses, and he says, also, looks like I'll be shipping out in just a day or two. May not have time to say hi, but I talked with my chief, and he said that he would get back to us, but I don't know where I'll find you at then. And then probably at the end, it says something really corny, right? It probably says, I miss those posters on your wall.
Oh, it's just so cute. Yeah, so I think like Gogo has that stupid ear to ear smile that, God, if anybody saw her doing that, she'd be horrified. But yeah, so I guess she just has a really short, brief message back that just says, please stay safe. I know you'll give him hell, and thanks for trying with the higher up. I think we have an in or two. Don't worry about it. And then she, equally as corny,
Right.
at the bottom, just says, I hope one of your crewmates out there will always fix your cowlick.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You guys are gonna make me.
Yeah, and obviously you see the message sent. He'll probably receive it later on that day. He's may or may not be out of system, or maybe like in transit at this point, or before you go out on missions. For those that are unaware of how anything in the military works, before you go anywhere, you have about 10 hours of PowerPoint presentations of stuff that you've seen 30 times already.
Safety briefings, hooray!
Yeah, literally. Just so I think we probably see he like gets a message and he like looks at his compad and he like does like the under the desk like looking at his compad like scrolling through. We see him like get distracted and then like the commander up at the front is like Fizz, and he's like ugh. And he like hides his compad. He's like I'm sorry, Chief, I'm here. And
that was a terrible physics.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Chief. It was just my mom was fine. Continue. And he like is like biting his thumb, and we see like one of his buddies just like punches him in the shoulder like really hard. And he's just like, now what'd you do that for? Wasn't nothing. And he's like, he's bright red at this point. So we see that, and you all make your transit into Westwind.
Oh my god.
It's great asking.
The fact that you took the time to make that is awesome. that is
unreal.
amazing.
It's pretty good asking. So,
hey Jordan.
Yeah.
You said we are allowed to reallocate skill point?
Yeah, with some training, sure. Yeah.
Okay.
If you undergo the reprogramming protocol.
Yeah,
which
it
comes
takes
with
about a month, so I don't know if we have that kind of
so
time.
for
risks to psyche and body alike.
For refresher, you can reallocate points that are within the same family. So for example, if you wanted to reallocate combat points into another combat skill, that's totally fine. If you want to reallocate like tech points into another tech skill, vehicle points into another vehicle skill.
What about into profession skill? Profession.
If do you have any tech points spent? Because I think your profession would fall under like the techie kind of thing.
Yeah. All right, no, that's fine.
Okay. You're not level 6 yet, right? Aren't you like closing in on it though?
I'm getting close.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'll have some more points to play with, and a couple of sessions.
Yeah, because I think you and Dr. Fisher are the ones that haven't hit it yet. But yeah, just because I feel like armor is kind of a more techie thing as opposed to a combat thing.
Yeah. No.
But it is a class skill, so you can easily dump points into it.
You made your bed, now you gotta sleep in it.
So, moving right along. When you guys arrive at Westwind, obviously you want to sell your stuff, right? Because you spent 25,000 credits.
Everything except for 100 pounds.
So, you're gonna keep 100 pounds of it.
Yeah,
I want to keep 100 pounds.
Completely inconspicuous amount missing, apparently.
Yeah, I mean,
I skimmed like 5 pounds off of the top of a couple of rates.
Sure.
I mean, realistically, you could have just gone out with a couple of buckets.
Yeah, and just like,
and, like
picked up some rocks.
Okay, then that's what happened. So we still have 25
you can,
tons to sell.
You can have some.
Extra to play with.
Yeah, you can have some extra to play with. That's fine.
Future project.
I will allow that.
I'm building a sandbox. Nobody asked why.
So, So you spent 25,000 to invest in it. They're currently buying at 40% the base rate, which means that your return investment is going to be 35,000. So if you've subtracted 25 from all of your sheets, or you've subtracted what you put into it, change the ship sheet to say 35,000 as opposed to the 25. Net profit of 10K there, which is more than you would have gotten for 10% of a full hold, right?
Bro, ton. 35K monies.
So you can obviously subtract like the month from that and distribute that if you wanted to. Or maybe there's a meeting. Maybe like is there like once we get everything dropped off, it's like, hey, we're a little bit liquid now. What do we want to do with it?
That's exactly what was about to come up.
Okay. Do you want to do that before or after you talk to Commander Hartfield?
After.
Okay. Sure. So, Fortune, you head off towards Commander Hartfield's office on the day that you're supposed to be doing that.
And I do have a laser rifle.
Yeah, so you bring